Hello. Hi there, welcome to another educational video documenting my Web3 expedition. In this video, we're going to be talking about virtual protocol as your avenue to bullish opportunities. People refer to it as your 10x, 50x opportunities. Is it possible to obtain that out of virtual protocol? And how we'll be answering that in the course of this video. So it's basically a helpful video for those I've seen struggling to get started with virtual protocol. This will help. Is it possible to get those 10x, you know, 50x opportunities out of virtual protocol? The answer is yes. At the moment, yes. It's basically uh, like proven, in recent time as such. Now, that is not out of place because of how it has been remodeled to enable this. Now, that was not the case in the past with virtual protocol. Virtual protocol basically is a launchpad for AI agents. When you launch an agent on virtual protocol, you have basically an AI agent that manages your project. It basically can run an entire functional social media account autonomously, whether TikTok, if it has to run a live stream event continuously, it can. Twitter, Telegram, Discord, it can run all that. The framework that agents launched out of virtual protocol use is a strong one. It's called Game. It can also manage its own wallet autonomously, perform trading actions, basically manage your entire project. Now, generally, when you launch an agent, you launch a token in association with it so that people can have fractional ownership of your agent. Okay, so that's what this portal is for. For builders at heart, you may want to explore this aspect of virtual protocol. Now, the reason I'm touching on this is so that you understand virtual protocol at least contextually, also understand the mechanics of why the agents that become sentient agents end up faring well from a token standpoint. They are not just basic projects, they are projects modeled to run sustainably uh, and autonomously. So you don't rely basically on a human that can falter, you rely on an agent that can run. Even without third party authorization and stuff like that. So in depth. Now, even this portal has become more in depth in the course of creating your agent. I'll do a specific video about this. So they've restructured this. This was not how it was before. Before now, it had the vibe of, pump fund. But of course, the tokens are in question are of agents, but you can get wrecked because generally when the token is instituted, it has to go through a bonding phase. And then if it cannot meet the bonding requirement, it never bonds and lists on a popular exchange like Uniswap where it gains more profound traction. And then because you entered in the pre-bonding period, you get wrecked. Those who entered at a 5K market cap, and they basically farm you there, don't allow the token to bond to where it can gain more traction and favor you. So you end up stuck there and basically you get wrecked. So some people have an advantage over you based on early entry. Now that has changed. Now, if you're participating in a token launch, everybody gets the same price. So that's one core change that has now allowed for you not to experience a wreckage like you typically would. So let's say I was to participate in this, for example, I cannot participate. We will get to that. So there's something called Virgin points now that I would have to pledge along with my virtual to participate. So that adds another layer of protection. But typically, if I were to participate here, I would be getting exactly the same price as others upon bonding. Now, if this doesn't bond, so doesn't fulfill the requirement of 42,425 virtuals contributed or committed, then you get a refund. So even if you are sleeping, not there present during the sale, and it doesn't end up bonding, you will not get wrecked. You will get a refund. Now, when you get a refund of your virtual, you'll also get a refund of the pledged points. Again, we'll come to points later on. Now, in the event of oversubscription, which is likely for good projects like this one, there's still 18 hours left. So it's likely going to be oversubscribed by, say, 1000%. Now, in that case, the allocation you will get after all will be diluted. So let's say you contributed at this stage, which is 125% oversubscribed, and you're expected to get, say, 100 Virgin virtuals worth of tokens. 100 virtual is maybe like, let's assume it's $200. By the time you come here and this is oversubscribed, well, let's say you are not present, but let's say it ends and it's oversubscribed by 1000%, you'll only end up getting 20 virtuals worth of allocation, which is like $40. If it turns out 2000 oversubscribed, everyone gets a diluted allocation, not only you. But what does that mean? It means that the market cap of the token will start higher than, it would have if it's not oversubscribed. So let's assume that, 42 uh, 42k virtuals is raised on the dot. So in valuation, USD valuation, 42k virtuals is around, let's say, 80,000 or so. I'm not very sure, 80,000 or so. Okay, so that, and I think the entirety of it, I'm not sure, the based on the documentation, if a portion of it is deducted, I'm not very sure. But assuming even if everything is put into the liquidity pool, it's going to be paired against the token supply. Again, you may need to go into the documentation for that. I don't want to dwell on that. They've formatted the whole structure of launches at the moment. So you see here, minimum FDV at launch, 336 virtual, so 500,000 MCAP. Just a moment. How do you want to launch your agent? So there's Genesis launch, there is standard. In the standard launch, 87% of the supply goes to public sale, 12.5% goes to liquidity pool. Launch a brand new token once 42,000 virtual is bought up, the agent ascends to sentient, 100 virtual non-refundable creation fee. So the person launching has to pay 200 to launch in the standard category. So you see the mechanics here is different from this one. This one, the number of tokens that not all the funds raised is put into the liquidity pool. Wow, this is insightful. This is insightful. I need to study this because knowing this also impacts your knowledge of how a token will perform. Now, in this one, in the Genesis launch, 37% goes to public sale, so 37% of the token. Wow, so the developer actually gets an allocation which is locked. So it's only 50%. Oh, interesting stuff. So that is why this Genesis launches fare well. I've hardly seen a standard launch so far. Okay, so let's dwell here. This is very important. This is very important because so if we were to go back here, you would see that this is Genesis launches. Many developers launch in this category because they want a portion of the supply, 50% of the supply, which is high. But the unlock date for this is 30 days. Unlock date for this is 28 days. Unlock date for this is 61 days. Now, there are some devs that come up and they just put the unlock date in perpetuity, meaning that they don't even intend to have that 50%, making the supply extremely small. Okay, now if you go back and you look at the market cap don't mind that the video is turning lengthy. This is important. So just knowledge of this, it tells you that, even if say even if say 336,000 virtual, which is valuation is 564 is raised, uh, the the token paired against it in the LP is small. We are talking 12% of the supply. Let's remove 50% of the supply. So we'll say 1 billion tokens. We're now talking only 500 million left. Okay, now of that 500 million, uh, 12% of it is added, paired against. Let's assume this whole amount is put into the LP, so it's not equal sided. It's not equal sided. A larger bulk of virtual is put against a smaller token allocation. No, no, no. What am I saying? Okay. So it's still, that's the liquidity pool. The tokens is in the hands of the people who bought. Okay, but anyway, this is insightful. The structure of the liquidity pool, like in the event of, let's say, oversubscription, a large bulk of the LP is quite robust. I think they do it so that it can absorb the tokens in the hands of people. Wow, this is genius. Quite when you think of it mathematically, the way this is structured, I think that's why the tokens end up faring well. Part why? Because almost every token that launched here that I've participated in myself have done numbers. Uh, so this is part why that is the case. So I didn't participate much myself because I've struggled to earn Virgin points. Without earning Virgin points, you would struggle in terms of allocation size. But maybe if I spent, let's say I participated, like at the moment I'm currently in cool down, because generally I don't sell, but I decided to sell one time because I was just a bit tired or stuff like that. So there's a 10 days cool down. In that period, I may have spent, let's say, $100 and turned it into 1,000. But if I had sold the top, because I'm not much of that a seller, you don't generally you end up not wanting to sell because of how virgins work. I'll tell you about that in a bit. So I didn't think of selling. Instead, I was putting up the agents that I bought as stake. So because of that, when I ended up selling, my $100 turned out like 1,000. But at the top, it would have been 3,000. It's more than 1,000, by the way, because if let's see my portfolio here, because I remember staking some of these agents because I want to earn Virgin points. So I don't know, they may have dipped in valuation, all the agents, because they also near their unlocking period and stuff like that. Wow, agent staking. There's also airdrops, by the way. I'll talk about that. Okay, so I have this. This has depleted in value. This used to be high in value. This used to be 100 plus in value or more. I can't remember. But if I were to add all some of this, maybe 1.5 from $100. So is it possible? Yes. But is it accessible? Not exactly, because you need Virgin points to participate in this. Now, how do you earn Virgin points? I'll give you a quick breakdown. So if you go to points history, you will see how you're earning. Daily active bonus, my last one came May 29th. So you see, I'm not earning points at the moment because um, I'm in cool down. I'll tell you about that later on. So you see, I was able to dedicate 14,000 points. So I experimented here to where I was able to earn a large bulk of points in daily active bonus. I'll tell you about that. So you see, 7,000, 5,000. Before that, I used to earn like 1,000 plus in daily bonuses. You see, I committed here. So because of the small points I commit to each sale, which is the only available points I have, my allocations are very small. So let's say I get a $1 allocation, it ends up $100 or more. But assuming those people that get huge allocations, like $500, they end up getting 3 to 5,000. Okay, so you see that, and that's another thing that that ensures that the tokens go up. How do I mean? First off, most of the participants are humans, not bots, because they have to earn Virgin points, which they will now need to pledge to a token sale. Now, if I were to pledge to a token sale, say I pick this, okay, so I would need to pledge this along with virtuals. At the moment, considering it's 125% oversubscribed only, if I pledge this small amount of points, compared to the other people here, you see someone is pledging 1.2 million points. So this person will likely get maybe $500 allocation. The maximum allocation that they can get, another reason why the token hardly dumps is because there are no whales here. The max allocation you can get is around $1,000 plus. 0.05%, 0.5% of the supply. So nobody gets even up to 1% of the supply. Reasoning for why it doesn't dump. It's quite decentralized. If this gets oversubscribed, you will see around 5,000 participants. That speaks to 5,000 holders upon launch. And many of them would have expended their points to be able to participate. So at the moment, you see recommended to contribute virtual is $6, but as this continues to oversubscribe, this will continue to go down. You may end up on the basis of this number of points getting, let's say, 0.1 virtual allocation. So even if that does 100x, it will turn out very small, maybe $50 or so. Okay, so earning points, one way of earning points is staking your agents. So referring to agents that you've bought. So that's what also deters tokens from dumping, because many of these agents, after you have bought them, you'll end up wanting to stake them, looking forward to the next launch and favoring earning points instead. So if I were to stake, that happened to me as well. This is not my main account, by the way. On my main account, most of the agents I bought are staked. Okay, so if I go to my portfolio, you'll end up staking most of these tokens that you buy. So that's one of their utility. Most tokens that launch on virtual, they already have instantaneous utility, that of staking them to earn points. And people favor that, so they end up staking them. Now, if you were to stake, it will take 14 days. So that's a long period. So many times you end up forgetting your stake, making the supply even more scanty. Remember, also only 50% of the supply is available until the dev unlock. Okay, so there is just that scarcity element there. So imagine 50% circulating, then people stake a large bulk of it. Maybe the supply is actually 20% in circulation, stuff like that. Okay, so now, so staking your agent is one way of earning points, but there are other ways. Other ways are staking virtual. So I've staked virtual as well. I don't have a large virtual balance, but I'm staking virtual. I staked virtual, a small virtual amount for the lengthiest period, which is 2 years. Now, for staking virtual alone, you'll be earning airdrops. So have I earned airdrops? Yes, I've earned maybe 5 airdrops, because many of these projects that launch, they also like to give airdrops to virtual stakers. So I've earned airdrops. Are my airdrops big? No, because my virtual stake is small. Okay, but I mean, I've been able to earn, I've already, the value of my stake I've already earned in airdrops, assuming I sell. I don't sell, I end up staking those airdrops I get. You earn points for yapping, but it's very small. If you don't have a big account, hard to compete in this regard. Then you earn points for staking Vader, not too much, except you have a large Vader allocation. The place you earn the most points from is daily active bonus. But people don't know how daily active bonus works. From my experiment, I showed you earlier that I started earning 7,000 daily active bonus points from an original 1,000. The reason is because I started trading. So, trading agents per day before the snapshot, especially when you have staked agents, will give you a large amount uh, of daily active bonus. So basically, they tied it together, and that's genius. There's so much intent and nuances here. So if you are to trade to earn daily active bonus points, before you'll be able to earn a large bulk of it, you have to stake. That's what I've not read the documentation, but that's what I've seen from my experience. So the daily active bonus is on top of your staked, cumulative stake. Now, speaking of staking, also the weightage of your stake also has to do with the number of tokens that it's not the dollar valuation that counts in terms of weightage, it's the number of tokens. So if you're able to get, for example, here I have 115,000 tokens of DGen C valued at 229. If somebody enters this token much later and spends 229 USD, ends up getting, say, 10,000 tokens and also stakes, my weightage is going to be higher than his in terms of earning virtual points because the number of my tokens is higher. So they did that to encourage early buyers not to sell. It's quite genius. And all this mechanics is why these tokens don't dump. They end up doing 10x, 50x. It's interesting. So then the daily active bonus, you see my cumulative here, maybe it's $500 or so. So if I'm able to trade higher than $500 in volume and then up that volume, you can expect that your daily active bonus will rise. But from what I've seen, because I've experimented with trading, uh, uh, you need some efficiency when it comes to trading as well, because you also lose, because these tokens, they have fees. I can't remember the breakdown there, but there are fees, maybe 1% per trade or something like that. So um there are some losses for trading and stuff like that based on what I've seen. But what you can do is tighten losses a bit, using slippage, tight slippage. Then you want a token, especially if you are trading in large volume, you want a token that is robust in liquidity so that the slippage is tight, something like that. you know oh, I can't even click on this. Uh, where are the trades? ACP, just a moment. Why are this not clickable? Oh, wow. So anyway, like this, for example, FDV, TVL. I don't know why I can't access the market. I wanted to show you some tips when you are trading these agents. Trade, let's use this. But they are not clickable. Interesting. Um, I don't know. I've not experimented with trading this no, prototype agents. They've not graduated. So you see, this was the past version of virtuals where you would get wrecked. You see, this token for 5 months, it has been here as a prototype. It has not graduated into a sentient, and some people are tied here. You see, it's still in 70% ascension, has not bonded, never gains traction. Some people bought here hoping it ends up bonding, waiting for 5 months, and it simply can't bond. So that's a wreckage there. Okay, so I don't know. I cannot show you the trading portal for sentient agent is different looking. So I wanted to show you some tips in terms of like not losing much in the trade, but I don't know why it's like this. I don't know how to. Let's see. Let's hope that one of this is already sentient. Okay, I think I bought this. Okay, so you see here, you can take this contract address and no, you would see the robustness of the LP here. This is 269. So this is quite robust. If you are putting up a $500 trade here, it may not, but you want a richer LP where you don't, you don't change the impact the price of the token much, even if you are trading with size. So liquidity pool of say 1 million it will not have much impact from a $500 trade. So those are some of the things you can do. You can also tighten it. Default slippage is like 5%. I think when you want to trade, you would see an option to tighten the slippage. You can also trade outside of here using Uniswap. It's still, I believe, it's still accounted for when it comes to volume that is relevant to earning you Virgen. So that's about it. That's about it. The tokens 100x, all that. I mean 50x. I've not experienced 50. No, there has been. That is um, now I'm talking near term, not long term. Like on day one, day two, like you experience that here on day one, even day two, like 20 to 50x, day one, day two. As soon as it launches, you do experience it. Now, you'd also have to claim your allocation, by the way, so it wouldn't be deposited in your wallet like that. If you participate in a token launch and you put up more virtual than normal, you'll be refunded the extra. If you put up commit virtual and points to a token that did not end up bonding, you get a refund of your points and the virtual. Yes, there's something I didn't talk about, the cooldown. So any token you buy, if you sell before the dev unlock, you would be penalized 10 days cooldown, during which you will not earn any points. You may be able to earn yapping points, but you will not be able to earn points generally from your staking, from your daily active bonus. So that's where I'm at. After 3 days, I will then start being able to earn points again. So I didn't talk about that. So this that also may be a factor to look into when you are buying an agent. Some people favor agents that will unlock in the near term. Some people favor those that will unlock in the future or never. Okay, so that's something to take note of. There is no way around it, and that also impacts why the token launches fare well. But I learned from this video, a core thing that I believe impacts the way the token fares, post lunch, besides points and all that, is the tokenomics aspect of it, which I didn't know of before. And then the staking element of it, okay, and then the small allocation. If somebody gets a small allocation, after all, he would want to stake it, because why spend $50 then be penalized 10 days? So the end result is staking it, and now you are staking a scarce token. You know, so interesting mechanics. They're well thought of, and I like projects with such intent where they sit down to model stuff out. Well understood now. I'll be ending this video now. Hopefully the video was helpful. If you have questions, you can ask me via Airdrop C. There's a contact form there where you can reach me. It's also your avenue to Airdrop prospects. I have 100 Airdrop prospects that I'm working on. Each will have its own publication tutorial. Simply submit your email here to subscribe to Airdrop reminders. It will be arriving in your email soonest. Contact me using this contact form, this Telegram, and this Twitter. Subscribe to Web3 Wikis on all socials. Stay awesome. Take action.